Greetings once again, Ifiddle readers. Tom Morley here, Irish fiddler and the author of the method book, Learn to Play Irish Trad Fiddle. Those of you who have been reading the digital pages of Ifiddle Magazine over the past few months should be familiar with me by now. I do the regular column in every issue, usually focusing in on simple tunes for the beginning Irish fiddler. That's kind of my specialty. I love melodic, fun tunes, and over the years as I teach my own students, these are the ones that they like the best. These classic tunes are classic for a reason, and I love to teach them. Over the past few months, we've had several lessons learning all the different styles of Irish fiddle tunes. There's all these dance styles, and every good Irish fiddle player has several kinds of tunes in their repertoire. We've learned jigs and reels, the two obvious contenders for the most famous types of Irish fiddle tunes is the 6/8 jigs and the 4/4 reels. We've also learned about slides and polkas. We've also learned a barn dance tune. And today we're going to learn one of the most exciting kinds of tunes I think that there is in the Irish traditional repertoire, hornpipes. Now these are tunes that go clear back to the 1700s, have a very long history. Hornpipes were often played, as I've mentioned before, all these tunes are dance tunes, dance styles of tunes. And in fact, to this day, when we refer to a jig or a reel or a barn dance or a slide or a polka or a hornpipe, these are the dance steps that people would do historically and to this day if they're dancing to go along with that music. So once again, a hornpipe is a kind of a dance, and so the fiddle player plays a hornpipe tune. That's how that works. It goes clear back to the 1700s, very early 1700s, and was often used as a kind of a show-off tune for a single dancer, kind of a spotlight tune. They have a very, very distinct rhythm, and right now, for those note readers of you, you should look at the included sheet music with the article here this month for the tune we're learning called Off to California. If you look up in the left-hand corner of the tune, you'll see kind of a special rule or way that you're supposed to play this tune. If you look at it just on the page, it's a bunch of eighth notes, and it seems like it would be very straightforward. But up in the corner, it says 2 eighth notes equals, and then it shows a bracket and a 3 and a quarter and an eighth note. So that designates a triplet, and you're supposed to play 2/3 of a triplet for the first note and 1/3 of a triplet for the second note. That all sounds a little confusing, I imagine. It means basically instead of 2 even perfect eighth notes every time you see a set of them, you actually play the first one a little longer and the second one a little shorter. The best way to learn a hornpipe, really, for all the fancy stuff that is written down about it, including what I just said, is to just listen to how it's played. If you listen and watch the very first few measures of the tune Off to California, here's what it looks like on the page, and I think you'll get the right idea. It starts with a triplet, so that helps you, but if you played it just as written without any knowledge about hornpipes, here's what it would sound like. Sounds a little weird and odd because some of the notes actually are triplet figures. Those are the 3 notes on a stem with on a bracket with a 3, and those are actually played as if you said triplet, 1, 2, 3. So perfectly timed 1/3 of a beat apiece. But it doesn't sound right. So you tripletize every set of eighth notes, is the way I like to tell my students, and the first note gets trippa and the other one gets let. Triplet, 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 triplet. Instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the first note's longer, the second one is shorter, and it gives it almost a jazzy, swingy feel. In fact, that's how jazz players do make their eighth notes sound swingy and jazzy, is by making the first one a little longer, second one a little shorter. So, once again, the first two measures of Off to California look like this. When they really go, I think there's no better way than just to listen and watch and learn. So in this video today, you'll really get the feeling for hornpipes. A lot of tunes that are hornpipes in the Irish tradition actually have the word hornpipe after them, like Murphy's hornpipe or the Harvest Home hornpipe, that sort of thing. Some don't have the word hornpipe on them at all, like this tune we're learning today, Off to California, and you just have to know that it's a hornpipe. But the more and more you get used to the Irish traditional repertoire, you start to learn which tunes have that kind of beat, and you learn them from your friends or recordings or books or other fiddlers. So you'll get good at this right away. The first melody is kind of tricky, but the neat thing about hornpipes is how repetitive they are. Hornpipes usually have about a 4-measure melody, and once you can learn that, well, then the next 4 measures are usually that same melody repeated. Then obviously, just like all fiddle tunes, you have the A section, you repeat that anyway, so you get to play that melody, that 4-measure melody, another 2 times. Then when you visit the B section of the tune, there'll be a new 4-measure melody, but it'll end with the original 4-measure melody, so you'll hear that original melody a lot of times. The first melody, for me, sounds like there's even words to it. Oh, I'm off to California just as fast as I can go. So I kind of think of that in my head, and it helps me get the tune going. Let's take that apart and listen and learn the first 2 measures. Then we'll learn the second 2 measures, and then you're on your way to knowing the entire tune very quickly. It starts with a triplet, and that helps you really feel that triplety rhythm in the hornpipes. Triplet. So 1, 2, 3. Triplet. So the first melody is on the D string. This tune, by the way, is in the key of G. Then you play an arpeggio. 3, 1, 3, 2. Crawl right up your fiddle quite quickly with, like I said, an arpeggio. That's kind of a G arpeggio. So let's put those 2 measures together. Next little section, the other 2 measures are higher. So you see how we kind of worked up a melody from the D string up to the E string, and then the second kind of, it's a question and answer. The answer takes you back down your fiddle. So here's the going up. Here's the answer, triplet. Once you get that, guess what happens next? You play it all over again. Then it ends. There's the first ending. We incorporated a triplet into that. A lot of hornpipes actually end with 3 big quarter notes at the end of each section, which we could have done here, but my favorite version of this tune has kind of a more elaborate ending, but it's really just a fancy way to go A, G, G. I think you can hear that in there. So another way to tell, if you're looking at some tunes on sheet music, if they end with quarter, 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 a lot of times those are hornpipe tunes, whether they say they are or not, and you might want to try the hornpipe triplety rhythm. Well, let's put the whole A section together here. You'll hear that, off to California just as fast as I can go. You'll hear that over and over again. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Then you repeat it. There's the A section of the tune. Guess what? You already know half the B section. The final part of it is going to go exactly like that. But let's learn the first 4 measures of the B section. They start on a triplet. You're going to go up to the G note. Kind of a little bundle of notes there. You're going to have to probably look at the music, sheet music, or watch me play that pretty slowly. 2, 1, open. So you're kind of tumbling down there, but in a very short, half-steppy kind of situation. Then you go back to the G. So that's the second set of 2 measures in the B section. Helps trail you back down to the D string. So let's put those 4 measures together again. Once you've learned this, that's the last part you really have to learn. 1, 2, 3. And guess what happens? So let's put the whole tune together here. For those of you who are note readers, this would be a good time to watch the notes go by, maybe silently play along with your fingers, and then try and set the video back and try and play along with me if you'd like. For those of you who are learning by ear, it might take you a few more times to listen to the whole tune to get it, but I'm pretty sure you will. I hope you've heard me play that hornpipe rhythm enough times now, the triplety feel, that it comes easier to you. Most of my students get it pretty quickly. Hornpipes are a lot of fun to play. An Irish fiddler usually plays just 2 times around on those tunes, because you can see they don't go that fast. I'm basically playing it at the right speed, so you don't have to learn to play it much faster than we're learning it here. So you usually play those tunes 2 times around, because also they're very repetitive. So 3 times around is about 1 time too many. You can't hook it to another hornpipe, however. You can't really hook it to any other style of tune. Once you start making that swingy rhythm with the 8th notes, you can't really play a reel or a barn dance or anything else with that. So you're stuck with some hornpipes. So here we go, 1 time all the way around at basically just slightly slower than the normal speed on your first hornpipe. Off to California. 1, 2, 3. you go, off to California. If you have watched this whole video and you contact me after you've learned that tune at thefiddlecenter@gmail.com, tell me that you saw my video here at Ifiddle Magazine, I will send you the sheet music to another hornpipe so that you can learn a second one and have that as part of your repertoire as well. So I hope you enjoyed learning this new Irish tune, and see you next time here at Ifiddle Magazine. Thanks.